So now we've presented a program to you with music from 1834 and 1842, Schubert arranged, and then this little gem of a piece from 2005. And all of those pieces are using the horn in a very creative way. And I realize that I have been with my front to you for the entire concert, and you probably don't know how I changed the notes. And I thought maybe a little introduction as an extra bonus so you can see how the horn works. So bear with me. Here's a horn and a pile of crooks. If you have been very observant throughout the recital, you will have noticed that the length of the horn, or the length of the tubing before the body of the horn have changed. That is a mystery in itself, and part of why horn players feel rather connected to plumbers in this world. I'm going to start with the shortest one, just to demonstrate. You'll have seen this little bit throughout both the Czerny and the Gallet arrangement of the Schubert. I've had that as the closest bit to my mouthpiece. This is one of the building blocks. So I had my mouthpiece, I've had this bit. This bit alone puts my horn into B-flat alto. We haven't needed this at all for this program, but it's a useful building block in the beginning of a horn. So after that, I have for one of the pieces, which was in G, or the horn being in G, I added another tone and a half in this coupler and brought my B-flat alto crook down to G. So this is all turning into a bit of a Lego experiment. But most of the program, you will have noticed, I played only this was only for one little piece. Most of the program was in the key of F major. And for F major, the horn needed to be a note longer. And you would have made me think I could just add a note to my G crook. And I could, but we worked out that with the piano, the tuning on just adding another note to my G crook, another length of tubing to my G crook, which we've already seen, this and the tone and a half, didn't tune very well with the piano and wasn't flexible enough to be a nice tuning situation. So I made something else up and brought out this, which is 2 tones and a half, bringing us to F. And bringing us to F in a nice, flexible, it's going to be a bit technical, nice, flexible, soft metal as well, which means that I can be better in tune with John and have more ability to play a singing voice throughout the piece. So that was my choice for this. And then there was Nicholas's piece, the piece from 2005, which is such a joy to play. Nicholas very kindly wrote this for me for my final recital at the Guildhall School of Music and Drama. Guildhall School of Music and Drama. I have to say the whole thing every time. And I had made a note on my piece of music from playing it at my final recital, which crooks I used, so I thought it would be quite nice to play it exactly the same for this. It doesn't say on the piece, Nicholas has written which key he wants it to be in. And I'm not sure we ever had a conversation about it either, so this was my choice. And another horn player picking up this piece might choose to play it in a different key. But I decided that in that context, for me, it was nice to play it with a horn tuned to D. So here I've brought out what is actually a whole F crook. So you've seen my F crook from before. This is very technical, I'm sorry. This was the F crook I made up to play with John for the other piece. And this one is exactly the same length. And again, one would think I could just put this in and I would be fine. And in many contexts I would, and I would definitely choose to do this in the orchestra. But again, for flexibility, I chose to make up a different bit. And for a piece by Nicholas, I wanted to play it in D. I wanted to tune my horn to D. Not that the piece then becomes a D major piece, because it changes quite a lot throughout. But again, I've made my building block. I have my F crook. I have 1.5 tones and another half, bringing me to D. That's all very pleasing. I'm not sure my math is quite adding up here. No, not quite, I'm sorry. But you get the idea. Basically, you have a load of building blocks and make it up as you go along to find the bit that is best in tune with whatever you're up to that day or that moment. And it does change throughout. The other little bit of mystery in playing the horn is how do you change the note? And there are several answers to that. The most simple is the horn in itself is a loudspeaker, and all the action is in the lips. So what goes in to the horn is all the information is coming from the lips. So what happens is this. And that looks a bit weird, and it sounds a bit more like a kazoo than what normally comes out of the horn. That's okay. We've got the horn to make a nice sound, and hopefully yourself and your breath and all of that. But the other thing, which you haven't been able to see throughout this concert, is that I have my hand in the bell. So when I've been standing here, you haven't seen any of the mystery that's happening behind. But if I turn around, you'll notice that my hand is in the bell. So it's very small movements, but that allows me to use the horn as a chromatic instrument. It allows not just me, but the composers to use the horn as a chromatic instrument. And you will have heard that throughout this program, because that's the focus of the composers in this, apart from letting the horn be a singer and copy Schubert and arrange Schubert to be played on the horn. They are also all exploring what the horn can do as a chromatic instrument, and I found that incredibly fascinating, and it's such a joy to do. And I hope you've enjoyed the concert and this slightly random and technical introduction to the horn. Thank you very much.